What's up, everybody? I figured I'd do a video on my bike. It's a pretty unique bike. I just love this bike, and so I figured might as well do a video on it. So this is a chopper that I had in mind for quite a few years. I've ridden a lot of bikes over my lifetime, and there's just things that I liked about certain bikes, things that I didn't like, and I was able to combine all of the things that I liked into this bike. I've ridden rigids, I've ridden everything. This bike to me is perfect. It's perfect for me. So what it is it's a Harley Night Train, a 2002 Harley Night Train, carbureted, not fuel injected, because carbureted bikes are just more difficult when you begin to chop them. Really, the only thing that's left on this bike from the 2002 Night Train is the motor. Pretty much everything else has been changed. So I'm gonna try to go over as many of the modifications as I possibly can, and I'm gonna keep a pretty wide stance on the camera because I just hate it when people zoom in when they're doing a video and you just can't get a proper idea of the bike. But I'll do some close-ups at the end. So like I said, this bike started off as a 2002 Harley Davidson Night Train, carbureted model. The first thing you're gonna notice, one of the more drastic changes, is that the frame was chopped. So we chopped and added about 2 inches in both the down tubes and the backbone to give the backbone really just a straight line, you know, to give that classic chopper look. And we just paid a lot of attention to the stance and the angles of this bike to get them right, because for me the stance is everything on a bike. And so that was one of the bigger things that we did, was to chop the frame. Additionally, we built a hand-built tank, or I should say Corey from Main Drive Cycles made this vision come to life for me. He's built 4 bikes for me, and I had this vision for a bike, and he was able to bring it to pass. And this is a hand-built tank that he did. It's got a really unique shape to it. It's similar to like a Sportster tank, but it's got more round features towards the front, and it holds probably 2.5 gallons. Very nice petcock, and really early style tank badges. So this bike has a lot of inspiration from what's coming out of Japan, as you could probably tell, which brings me to this seat. So this seat was, the pan was built by Corey. It's super strong, and the foam was done by Corey, and then we shipped it to Japan to master leather worker Ace Miyazaki. You can see it's diamond stitched with studs on it. But one of the things you'll notice about the studs is that they're brushed, and all of the chrome on this bike is brushed. There's no like shiny polished chrome. It's all brushed, so the bike has kind of an antique-y look to it. The seat is just so rad. The shape is perfect. Now you'll notice that there is a gap between the seat and the fender. I've never seen another bike with this, and this is so that I could have that style of a seat, but the swing arm can still flex, because this is a soft tail bike, and that's what makes this bike absolutely incredible, is it has that hardtail look to it, but it is a soft tail, so it's got the best of all worlds. One of the next things that we did on this bike that really make this bike unique is that although it's a soft tail, it has Dyna Mid Controls on it. And for me, mid controls are absolutely where it's at. It's a much more aggressive riding position. Your weight is on top of you, and you can take bumps in your legs and not in your back, like forward controls. Forward controls to me are just kind of silly. They're just not comfortable. Mids are where it's at. You will not see another soft tail with Dyna Mid Controls, with mid controls period. It's just not done. I've never seen one in America, and I've seen a couple since my bike in Japan. Another thing you'll notice about this bike that's super unique is the front end. So this is a narrow glide front end, but the bike has a very slim stance to it, but it's not spindly, and that's because of the larger features. For example, these are 41 millimeter forks on a narrow glide. Normally narrow glide has 39 millimeter forks. These are 41, so they're still beefy looking, but the bike is still super narrow. We did fork boots. We powder coated black the triple trees. Those are custom triple trees for 41 millimeter forks. And then down at the bottom are FL lowers, and those are those tapered lowers. I just love that look with fork boots. It's my favorite style of a front end. Then going to the bars, you can see that we did very narrow T-bars. This bike does not have turn signals, but I still retained a horn. This is to mount my phone for GPS. And those are actually Harley clutch and brake levers that have been shaved and brushed as well. So like I said, there's no chrome on the bike. It's all been brushed to give that antique look. And what I love about these levers is that they're still Harley parts. They're not some aftermarket cheesy something. No billet. Those are real Harley parts. And it just goes to show, as you can see, just the shape of them are so rad. Just goes to show what you can do with stock Harley parts if you put a little work into them. I've got an old sissy bar bag on there. There's my horn button. As far as wheels go, I did a 21-inch 40 spoke up front and a 18-inch in the rear. We powder coated them black, left the spokes chrome or metal. It's a 180 rear tire. This bike corners amazingly. It's still stock height, so I retained my ride height, and as you can see, Dyna controls are pretty high, and so I can corner really well. This bike is built for riding. This bike absolutely rips. The riding position, because of the seat, because of the narrow bars, and because of the mid controls, is very aggressive. And it's a twin cam, and it's fast, and it's very light because of everything that's been taken off of it. So this bike is just absolutely a blast to ride. Those are Metzler tires. And in the front, it's the 3-inch wide tire. So it's fat. Super narrow front end, but fat tire. And as you can see, the clearance from the tire to the lowers is like a millimeter. And that's okay because it can't move. But it is super high or super low clearance. Headlight is LED. It's from Rough Crafts. and so is the air cleaner, also from Rough Crafts. I know I was the first one in America to have that air cleaner, and I don't know if anybody else has got one since, but Winston, the designer of Rough Crafts, told me I was the first person in America to have that. We did a sissy bar on the back. I also have struts, I can swap them out, but I run the sissy bar and I run that bag. The fender is rigid mounted to the swing arm. That's the main thing that gives the bike the rigid appearance. The exhaust pipes are hand built, and they're loud. Those are custom made rotors for this bike. Nice and small rotors, which means you're not going to have the same braking power, but you can see so much more of the wheel. That cover's from Pangea Speed. Those are not made anymore. It's brass, I powder coated it black. The license plate bracket, Corey made. And the tail light is LED from After Hours Choppers. And then I mounted some extra gas there in front of the license plate, because you need it. Here is my speedometer. It's Moto Gadget, made in Germany, high tech. And I love it because it's very racy. When you turn the bike on, the speedometer goes, or the needle goes wow, like a race car. That's where we relocated the ignition to. Thank God for choppers. Built well grips. I don't think I'm missing anything else. So again, this bike started off as a 2002 Harley Night Train carbureted model, and now it's a chopper and still a softail, and it absolutely rips. Be blessed, y'all. Thank God for choppers.